my pleasure to introduce the host for today. We got Ken Huizenga. Those of you who know him understand how much value he brings to these things of ours. And those who don't, Ken, why don't you give us just a quick background on yourself, and we can kick this thing off, man.
Good morning, everyone. Glad you're all here. You're the reason why this is a success. I have run a JETvarnish for 7-8 years and was one of the first ones to get a 3DS. So I've been in the trenches with it quite a long time, and hopefully some of the things that I've had to get my way through can be helpful tips for you to be more success as operators. But as I previously mentioned, you guys are the stars of this show, and you bring a lot of experience, and I would love to know what's happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks that has been a complete success or has made you want to pull your hair out. Does anybody want to share a story of something that's happened recently?
Well, I do.
Right.
Actually, a few weeks ago, Ken, you shared with us your experience with recoding the heat roller on the IFOIL unit. So I remember that because we were having a problem with the foil, and the part that was not foiling was repetitive every 4 or 5 inches. So I looked at the roller and it was scratched. I don't know how it happened, but the roller was scratched. So I came up with the idea of using some cover material from Infinity, from our traditional hot stamping press called silver film. And I patched the roller with the silver film and it worked perfectly. So if anyone is in a rush to get the job done and the roller is scratched, you can use some materials to cover that, and it works great because of the the lead time for a repair is sometimes unnerving to the operators getting the job done. So if anyone is helpful, the product is called Silver from Infinity. It was used for combination dies, so it repels heat from the cover of the roller very well.
Wow, that's awesome. I'd never heard of that before. I think as time goes by, one of the things that we've learned is to make sure that you have a backup roller.
Yeah.
Even though it's a big project to get changed, the time it takes is brutal, and it could literally put your machine down for a long time. The other thing we don't think about too is if you're over hammering that thing because your pressure is so tight, those heat cycles and the combination of that rubber you'll end up having high ends and you'll have a low middle, and
Yeah.
you will fight it. Sometimes you fight it for weeks before you realize what's going on. If you actually take 3 1-inch strips of paper, bring that roller down and pull on them, you'll see sometimes that the middle is what's really saggy and provides you the frustration. That's the part you're running all your sheets through. So it's probably best to eventually fit that into your budget and make sure that you have what you can, because that could be a one-day fix, but that's tremendous.
At least.
Film. Infinity sells it.
Yeah.
See, you guys are awesome.
It's the silver one where they used it for combination dice for the release of the foil. So I think it's a good fix on the run, but yeah. I don't know how expensive the spare part is. One local rubber salesman of rollers told me that it can be coated, but the expense of getting it out and fixed on the run, it's unnerving for every operator. So if you fix.
So what kind of job were you doing? What did it end up looking like?
I was with a long border, so border, and the line was in every single. It was never in the same place. So when we passed the two run, but we were wasting too much foil. because it was only a border on text. So
Getting rid of every 4 sheet, that adds up, huh?
yeah. So we patched the roller. So that's right.
Wow. What a great
Awesome.
piece of information. How long does that patch usually last? Is it a permanent patch or is it temporary?
I think it's temporary. We have a big roll of silver film for that, but I hope it lasts at least between I get the repair, the official repair done.
Yeah, so it's a band-aid until they
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anybody else? Tell me about your success.
or not, the opposite.
Or not. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've got a comment.
Hey Al, what's up, buddy?
Hey, maybe we're having a fair amount of maintenance issues with our inkjet, and it may be because it is sitting in our bindery. It is not in an isolated room. Does everybody else have theirs in an isolated room?
We do.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Well, we're trying to figure out some way to work around it, maybe put a cover on it every night. It just seems like we're down way more than we should be.
What kind of problems is it causing, Al?
My operator was going to be in this meeting, but fortunately for us, we're so incredibly swamped with work, he couldn't get away. But what I'm going to do is, it just seems like I don't know. I wish he was here to tell you, but I'll find out more and I'll pass it on to Kevin, and maybe Kevin can shoot it around to everybody. But it just, we're talking to him on maintenance all the time.
I think the big issue is you can kind of work backwards. It doesn't necessarily have to be in an isolated room as much as it needs to be in a climate controlled room. That's probably more important, right?
Well, we're climate controlled. I don't have any presses running in that area, so there's no spray powder. But the temperature's fine. It just, I wonder if there's just dust or something. I'll find out more about the specific problems, and then I'll have Kevin maybe pass that on to everybody.
Yeah.
The other thing too is if it's anywhere near garage doors, the doors that open, your delivery doors. Every time one of those opens and you get a burst of air and it blows over all of your inventory boxes and over your machines you don't use a lot. That's the stuff that you don't necessarily think about. You're like, it seems clean back here, but getting that outside air is brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty isolated. It's in the middle of a 10,000 square foot addition we built.
Do you have it close to a Zune? Is it close to a Zune or a Kongsberg?
You know what? It is close to a Zund. Probably 30 feet from a Zund.
Yeah, that's probably your issues, because if you're cutting corrugate, a lot of corrugate, it kicks up a lot of dust. So our lamination and everything, we try to keep it as separate as possible from the Zune. So that could be one of your issues.
Maybe I can put up a screen of some sort. I'll try to do something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next.
That helps.
Say that again. What?
We put one air filtration in the ceiling right above it. And it'll the ceiling and it'll pull some of that dust out.
Okay,
from
that's a great idea.
I didn't have one of those machines, but we had other inkjet roll to roll, and we had fans that we would use to dry it, but we turned them the other way. We made sure there was nothing blowing in or up near the machine, right?
Yeah.
Everything and anything. The other thing you could do is, where it is, you could drop plastic sheeting from the ceiling down and create a square around it, which will keep out the dust and probably eliminate a good part of your problem.
All good advice, guys. Believe it or not, I'm going to act on every one of those today.
Oh, we know you will.
I'm going to get
By the way,
I'm going to get the ball rolling.
Take videos for us. We want to watch what we did on our advice.
Yeah,
We did also
And
have,
also,
along that line, the vinyl curtain, those 6-inch vinyl slats that you'd see that you could walk through a delivery door, that kind of system. Those
Yeah.
are really inexpensive and easy to put up as well. So
we
consider
got
that
those in four or five places in our plant.
perfect.
what machine is this?
It's JETvarnish. It's one of the smaller machines.
Which one?
Do you know what I got, Kevin?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3DS. Yeah, do you have the ducts for the air? Is the ventilators set it up from top? One is pulling air from the top and the other one is blowing air outside of the JETvarnish, or both of them blowing the air out of JETvarnish? Because according to the last setup for those vents, the pipes are removed. Both of the fans are blowing air out, and the bottom fan before the IFOIL is set it up to induct the air inside the machine. This is the last technical setup for the small machines.
I will go check on that.
Interesting. Thank you, Marco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those vents on the top
This
are
is-
easily ductable. You can literally just buy 6-inch duct and put them over the two fans and get them up away from wherever your dirt is. Sometimes you can pipe them straight to an area that you know is clean. So that's really good advice and really important as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to switch, or as the representative or the who are doing the
Service?
I like the word the service. Yes, the last known technical setup of those small machines. So two ducts, so two ventilators from inside the JETvarnish part of the machine should blow the air out of the machine, and then you can cover it with something to scoop that air. And the lower one, before the IFOIL, you have the one ventilator that need to be replaced to suck the air inside the machine. Now the standard setups, you have two ventilators up on the top of the machine. One is sucking air inside and maybe your dust from around the machine, and the other one is sucking the air up, and the lower one is blowing the air out of the machine. So you need to switch those. This is the technical advice from the MGI.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So
How about
what
Adam
else?
or Bill? We haven't heard, or even Dominic. I haven't heard much from you guys. Let's tell me about your weeks.
Yeah, we've been pretty steady. We haven't done anything crazy like we've done some in the past. Yeah, talk about some. But I am in the pre-press, and I work remote, where before I had access to the operators and the machines directly. I was at the production plant, but now I'm a little bit, I'm remote, so it's a little bit tricky. It was good to be able to walk out to the machine and the operators and talk about what to adjust in pre-press and all. But now we do it via, Teams or whatever. It's sending photos and through issues. So, I've been in pre-press many years, have experience with the machines directly. So I don't know how you guys deal with your pre-press department, but if I can ever help, I'd be happy to. Because we've pushed the machine. We've done some crazy stuff. That's one.
Great job on this, by the way. I absolutely love this piece you sent us.
Thanks.
You did this is your new lookbook where you did did you design this?
Lindsay did that one. Lindsay did the graphic design on that. It's a promo package for vinyl record packaging industry. So it's specific to the vinyl record industry that's sort of going crazy right now. People going back to records.
Dominic, when you deal with your operator and you guys have conversations, do you do anything special to try and keep the dialogue window open and the cooperation level high? Do you Can you tell us a little bit about the interactions you have with your operator and what you appreciate from him and what an operator can do to make your job easier?
Well, not much the operator of the machine can do, actually. It's in reverse. It's pretty much what pre-press can do to help the operator and the machine. So yeah, it's sort of, there's not much. Well, I mean, communication wise, the operator can give me some feedback that will help me tweak the file, and me also seeing the results in person as it comes off the machine, I can know right away what I need to adjust on the file, on the art, the design, or whatever. Seeing the results instantly was a good big benefit. And like I said, now we're separated, so it's a little bit not as quick, being able to see what's going on at the machine. But Nolan and Tracy, give me as quick as they can do, being remote. They can give me some feedback, and I can go back and adjust the file as I need. So it's more knowing the machine's capabilities and learning the results you get from a certain file setup, and then gaining experience from that. And then the next job that comes, you can know what to do. Say when you do multi-level varnish, you've got different parts of the artwork that you want 3D, and then you want some flat, having the experience of seeing, say, what 10% screen with a 100% screen or whatever grayscale image you set up in the artwork, and then you go and see what happens at the machine. Once you see those results, it sort of builds on itself for the next piece of art you deal with, and things tend to run smoother as you gain experience in pre-press.
Are you
open
to feedback from the operators? I mean, do they come to you and say,
"Oh, absolutely,
this is a problem element," or what can they do? What information can they provide for you that's helpful?
Yeah, they'll show me the results, and then I know what to do with the file. Say they're trying to do a 3D, but maybe the space between whatever artwork is too close, and then there's too much gain and everything runs together. As I see that, I know to go and tweak the file to open up the spaces. So when you run a high level varnish, the spaces don't plug. That's the kind of feedback they'll give me. And that's just from showing me the results. And they have things they can do at the machine too, but we prefer to fix it in the file, because on repeats or whatever, or change in production, you might get a different operator 2 or 3 years from now. If we repeat a job, they're not going to know what to do at the machine. So if the file is fixed, we just give them the same print file, and they don't have to do much at the machine stage. So we try to keep our files in pre-press fixed and not do so much at the machine, because like I said, people can change. They can forget to keep their notes or capture the settings, whatever reason. So if we keep the files good, they can repeat that job in the future.
Is part of your workflow ever a test print? Do you ever test it well before the production run, or do you just wait until you do a production run and respond at that point?
Usually it's the production run for us. We've done some, recently we did some cards that the customer was open to different options. And in that case, we did like 6 different options, and that was more for the customer to choose from. It wasn't as much as trying to do the right thing at the machine at that time. But NAPCO is set up to, NAPCO frequently will do a pre-production run as a way to get in, get that job. So we do a lot of that, where it's a 1 or 2 piece run to show the customer what we can do. So we do a lot of that. But you guys, your pre-press people, are they close to you all in general, right there with you? They are.
When I'm doing the job, I'm the pre-press guy.
Yeah.
Our guy is
too.
our
Only
guy
one.
is not very near. Actually, he's on the other side of the building.
Okay.
I think it's
But
really
they
important.
can come to the machine.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I just said I think it's really important to be close if at all possible. It's
Yeah.
difficult because you do a lot of back and forth. I know we do, but we do a lot of development, so we're constantly going back and forth. I think it'd be almost impossible for us, but I mean everybody's circumstances are a little different. If you're printing big jobs, I think it's fine to be far away, but yeah, we have to have a lot of feedback back and forth between the operator and pre-press and our operation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the group, I'd be happy to look at files or whatever you guys need, or if I can help with, I'm here. Because the pre-press part, it's huge for the operator. You give them good files, they're gonna be happy, and give them files that they're gonna struggle with or whatever, it's frustrating for them. So.
Well, I know for me, I felt the communication was very important as an operator. I was often in there too much in pre-press, but I think that's the best way to build that relationship and to figure out what you need from each other. I think that dialogue's important, and it's really important that people keep that in mind so that they're not a thin amount of patience for either one of those processes, because that can make or break the embellishment department.
Yeah.
And it's important that you cooperate with one another. So I don't think the operator will ever be afraid to go into pre-press.
Oh yeah, definitely. And understanding what the customer is expecting is huge too. They send you a piece of art, you look at it, and you need to know what that customer is expecting you to deliver. And if for some reason their expectations are something you can't meet, we go ahead and tell them up front and give them options, so you don't deliver a product and they're like, surprised, this isn't what I asked for. So we go ahead and address that right away. And then if we can't do what they expect, we give them other options that we usually, think they'll be happier with, and usually works out much better just to be open.
I have one question for you, commercial printers, because I'm not one of the commercial printers. What the thicknesses do you do regarding? Do you have some standard workflow? Because 2 of my customers have only 2 thicknesses they work because of the web to print, or you give the customers to choose the thickness, whatever they want, need, or expect.
Was the question the thickness of the paper or substrates we're using?
No, the thickness of the varnish. Yeah. What do you do? As I said, I have the customer in Maribor, and he has the big web to print portal and everything, and he do only 2 thicknesses, 18 microns, 36 microns, and both thicknesses with the varnish. He has a 3DL machine, and that's all, nothing else. Only for the big jobs, maybe have something regarding customer what is wanting, But anything you order from the web print portal, you only have two thicknesses and nothing else. Nothing else.
I'll just say for us, you know, we're new at really understanding how to use this device. So we're introducing it to our clients and they've never seen it before. So what we're trying to do is get when we're printing a brochure for them, we take a few extra and we do some experimenting with it. And we're really trying to discover what really works best and what looks best. And so we're just trying lots of different things. So we're not at a point where our clients have no expectations, is what I'm saying. They've never seen it until we show it to them.
Like what we would do with our estimators is we would try and get the customers, them to find out from the customers, are they looking for feel and touch and they want to bring that element into it, or are they just looking for shiny? If they're looking for shiny, obviously we would probably stick around the 30 micron level because our particular machine wasn't so great at levels under that. And then if they were looking for touch, we tried to go into the 70s or 80s. But I think you can go ahead and sell it at a couple of different levels. But I think from that point on, as long as the operator understands that they're looking for feel, if he needs to go up or down a little bit more, nobody's going to know. You give him a little bit of license to do what's going to work best for him, and also helps with time, right? Because the more varnish you put down, the slower the machine goes. So some of it was left up to the operator, but really it was about finding out from the customer what kind of finish they were looking for.
I've heard a lot of people do low, medium, high, and then you get to decide what's low, what's medium, what's high, depending on what the file coverage looks like. So people can make a decision that way. Go ahead, Gerard.
So you're telling me you are working 70 microns and the 36 is the least for you?
30, yes.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
I have a when I'm talking to the customer, the only thing I ask him, well, do you want flat? Do you want hot stamping? Because if it's hot stamping, it's going to be minimum 70 microns. And then if you want full, it's going to be slower. So you got the 3 points. You got flat, you got texture, and you got foil. And you go from there.
So you do foiling only on 70 microns?
It's usually the most convenient way to foil. If you go higher, it works too, but it's slower. And at the lowest I foiled, it's about 56 microns, but it's not entirely convenient because of the reliability of the foil. So our standard it's 70 minimum to foil.
Really? Nothing below? Yeah, I work normal on a 28 or 36 with the 3DSs without a problem. Yeah, even 21 on the laminated surface without a problem.
Marco, I think it really depends on the foils that you get too, no?
That's correct. That's the one.
Yeah, MGI foils, yes.
Sometimes it works, but we try to offer the client so much variety of papers and foils. You can guarantee that the 40 micron will work.
Whoa, for me, basically, I don't know what to tell, but okay, everybody have their own selling ideas or what. So no, because standard for my customer standard, I don't push over 70 microns. No, for me it's overkill because of the speed of everything.
Yeah.
Especially when they want larger surface. No. 70 is top for my customers on my trainings. When I train the customers, 70 microns is basically top level of the thickness of the varnish. Top.
Sometimes I use more than 70 because of the paper. It's not coated. So if you put more varnish on semi-coated paper, it works very well. Like star dream papers, like semi-covered papers, it works very well on that.
Yeah,
so
but do it twice.
Some conditions, yeah, not twice,
yeah,
just once, and sometimes it works. And I mean, you have to consider put more varnish because of convenience or look, or because it works, and you offer the client what it works. If it doesn't work for you, don't even try.
Yeah, I totally agree. But for the uncoated materials or semi-coated materials or materials that suck in the varnish, I always did two passes, 21 microns in the first pass, and then I play with whatever thickness I want.
That's one way to do it, to coat really the paper
Yeah,
first.
to segmentally coat the paper
Yes.
whenever I'm on the places where I want, and this was my workflow for every uncoated paper. Yeah, especially on the small machines. I said small machines, 3DS, 3D1, or anything else like it. And on 70 or 80 microns on uncoated materials, you don't have the problem on the other side with varnish after one day to go through the paper on the other side and see the, let's say, like oilish view from the other side.
On a Stardream semi-coated papers, no. On sometimes papers that are too slim, we actually had a client that wanted me to varnish 40-gram paper last week. It was a disaster. Didn't pass. The machine sucked the paper on the band, and he came up with some ideas, but it didn't work. I will keep you updated on that. But because our customers usually use cover 300-gram paper, 350, we don't have those issues of
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And Gerardo, you
Because
oh, go ahead.
Tell it.
No, Matt has some good videos for any of you who are wondering how to do this.
Yes.
On the JETforce, there's some videos that talks about some of the best practices to get around uncoated materials. So whether it's picking the right material, doing multiple passes, or even using toner as a barrier to be able to stop that gas ghosting going through. He's got a nice little series on that. I definitely recommend that you check it out.
Yeah, for me, the greatest thing was to coat it first time only with the varnish and with 21 microns to have the most faster passage through the machine, and then in the second pass I can do basically whatever I want. Foiling, without foil, with foil, or anything else. Yeah, the edges will not be sharp as on a classic foiling, of course, or JETvarnish foiling on a laminated surface. But if it's sellable, it's okay.
Well, thanks, guys. I mean, as usual, you're the stars. This is some great information. I took some notes as well. I'm going to refer back to those. I got to really look at that foil, Gerardo. That's awesome.
Oh, he put it in the chat. So if anybody wants, click on the little chat button on the left. Gerardo shared the link with us. So thank you, Gerardo, for doing that for us. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Dominic, thank you for your insight in that relationship. I hope to talk more about that in the future. That was great. And we also have a forum on the JETforce website. If you have questions or you come up in the middle of the week and something's driving you nuts, please put it out there. If we all tune in and check on it once in a while, I think we can probably help each other out quite a bit. So I want to thank you all. And I think, Kevin, are we going to try and do this again this month?
Yeah, so there was a couple of threads on the JETforce saying that a lot of people couldn't make the meetings and they were pissed that they had to wait a whole week. So we talked to Ken. We're going to do these twice a month now so that we can, obviously, you guys have 2 shots to make it. You don't have to wait a full month. So we're going to go for 2 a month on the operator meetups, which I think is going to be great. And just a little success story I thought I'd kind of mention is, I don't know, those of you who have been with us for a while and been on these meetups for a while, we had somebody from Paragon Press who was really trying to find a purple foil. Do you remember that conversation? Couldn't find the purple. Adam is on the call anymore, found the right purple, gave him a call and set it up. Now who's able to do that job. So big thanks to Adam and really kicking into the community and making people successful through sharing of information. So let's keep that up, guys. Anything else?
Buddy? You'll see the next invite pop up in your email box, and we hope to see you in a few weeks.
You have Nolan and Tracy, Kevin, on there, hopefully.
I have to double check. I don't think they've
Yeah.
signed up yet. Maybe you can ask them to sign up for us. That'd be great. It's free.
Yeah. They should be on here. It'll be really helpful for them.
For sure.
Okay.
Guys, always a pleasure. Have a great rest of the week and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.